Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to cover the season finale of Season 4 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled No Man's Land. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Dragon, we got the rooftop scene.
Yes, we did.
We got the rooftop scene, Dragon. It was glorious. I was like, oh my god, it's a rooftop scene. Like, in all its glory. It's the origins of Batman, if you will. It's Batman's birthplace right there. There will be light, Dragon. We were promised light and we got light, god damn it. All right, so folks, here we are, alas, on the 1 week anniversary of the airing of Gotham's well, I'm sorry, technically it aired last Thursday, but we're out about a week. It's been about a week since this episode aired. And Dragon, I don't know about you, but I really thought this was a very satisfying way to cap off the season. It really laid the groundwork for a hopefully really exciting final season. And you and I both discussed this. We don't really have to go over it again, because we kind of laid our thoughts on it in the last podcast. But I'm excited that last season, Season 5, is officially confirmed as the final season, because I just think that this is such a good place to really stop as a penultimate season where, all the groundwork is laid. We've got Jim and Bruce on the rooftops. We've got all kinds of chaos going down. We've got the bridges being blown out. We've got practically like Game of Thrones style, half the cast as you're wondering if they're going to live or die. It's craziness, Dragon. It's absolute craziness, and I love it. What do you think of the episode?
Well, I was very, I love the latter half of it. I don't think it's perfect, but on a rewatch, I like some things more than I did on the first watch. But again, like that second half, the second half, the third act, obviously the ending specifically, that's where it all comes together. That's where, like, oh my god, it gets fantastic. But a few plot lines are a little iffy on the wrap up, let's say.
Okay. All right, so I guess let's get into it, Dragon.
All right. Okay, let's see. So we begin where we left off, where Selina was shot, Killing Joke style. Very paralyzing location of that shot. Selina's being rushed into the ER. She's asking Bruce to stay with her, and promise that he'll stay with her, and he does.
Yeah, for now at least.
For now. Let's see, Jeremiah, and then I love this. We have a really great kind of visual command over this episode. A lot of great visual edits and just kind of great shots. So I love how we pan down from the. It's kind of a great fusion of the brothers here, because Jerome, Jerome, he had defaced had his cronies deface the inside of the GCPDs. Have all like the Cult of Jerome decals, and you have like the graffiti of the Jerome eyes, and you pan down from the Jerome eyes in the cell to reveal Jeremiah. So you kind of see the brothers kind of linked visually there, which is cool.
And Dragon, I think I finally kind of cracked the riddle that is the Joker in this episode in the Gotham universe. I feel like the Velasquez twins, them combined, make up one Joker character.
Sure.
Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Like, I don't think we're going to ever see a full-blown amalgamation of the two of them, but I think if you take their different philosophies, their different ideas, their different ways of approaching things, it adds up to one top-level Joker.
Well, essentially, I think you're right, but I still think there's room for not like a rehash, but let's just say an evolution with Jeremiah still. But let's just leave that vague for Season 5 spec.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, anyway, so we have Jeremiah in the cell, with the cult graffiti, and we have this great Warriors reference. I believe it's a reference to the Warriors. They'll come out to play.
Oh yeah, come out to play. Yeah.
As they're messing around with the cell to intimidate. Basically, it's very much like the Dark Knight, where they have the Joker in custody and none of the cops like him.
Then we have Gordon and Alfred off to the side. I love Alfred's role in the action, how he really gets into the thick of things.
Yeah. And Alfred, he's questioning, I don't know why I just didn't just kill him. And Jim's reassuring him he did the right thing. And of course, Alfred storms off, and then Bullock, meanwhile, Bullock just, I just love he enters the scene. Of course, he's buddies with Alfred. Saying, "Oh man, why couldn't that guy have done us a favor and blow him away?"
So Bullock comes bearing bad news that the mayor is stopping the evacuation because he doesn't want to throw the city into a panic.
Yes. He also gives an update on the bombs because the bombs right now they're all stored in like a GCPD kind of holding facility somewhere, being decommissioned and such. But all the bombs are in one location, which is never a good idea, by the way.
So Jeremiah's being all polite. He's like, "Pardon me, Jim. Pardon me.
I'd like to press charges against Bruce Wayne's butler. As you can see, he."
But like I said, I like how he's being so cordial about the whole thing. You know what I mean?
And take it again. This is sort of the Heath Ledger idea, just kind of the legal playing with the legalese. Like, I want my one phone call. That kind of sort of Joker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So,
his one term is that he wants to speak to Bruce Wayne.
There is a story. There's a Joker story that I can't speak to if it came before The Dark Knight or not. But the point is, it was one of the Arrow showrunners, Andrew Kreisberg, who now is a little bit of kind of an infamy, but he wrote a really good comic story about the Joker. It was called Batman Dead to Rights, where it's all the legal. It's like Joker being arrested and booked, and all the legalese. He has a trial, like all the stuff that can go wrong does go wrong, but it's like Joker like abiding by the legal system and just screwing around with everybody's head. So that's kind of so I just love that Joker has like his one term he's trying to bargain with. So again, it's kind of reminiscent of some of the great Joker stuff from my reading. All right, let's see.
So Gordon has a great comeback to when Jeremiah says, "Look what he did to me." He's just like, "Oh, I think you look great."
Yeah, and then Jeremiah's getting his licks in there by saying, "Oh, I wanted to chat, but I was going to chat with Bruce, but then his girlfriend was bleeding out." So, so then Jim tells him that he's a failure and that he's heading to Arkham like his brother. He'll be right at home.
Mm-hmm.
So then what Jeremiah's offering to sweeten the pot so he can have his big meet and greet with Bruce Wayne. He offers the other bomb locations in exchange for a meeting with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, not a bad plan. We'll see how it goes.
And so Jeremiah, he has a plan in the works here, and of course, as he's really touting off, and especially later on, his eyes have been opened to a vision thanks to Ra's al Ghul. And of course, being very cocky, Jeremiah is basically the equivalent to the pony thing, where his brother just like 8 degrees of crazy, is asking, "Oh, a pony." But we have Jeremiah here. He says, "Oh, and I want a coffee.
A coffee, black, 2 sugars."
Kind of
then Howard Hamlin's off to the side because we haven't talked about Howard Hamlin in a hot minute, Dragon. Howard Hamlin's off to the side. He's like, "I'll just have a tea, please. Just a regular tea."
God. All right. Like HHM has been called to look over the case. That's all.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, meanwhile, so take us through this. One of your favorites came back.
Yeah, sure. So we get a little bit of Hugo Strange action in here, a little BD Wong flavor to spice it up the episode. Probably about as much screen time as Jeff Goldblum is going to get in the new Jurassic World movie.
I don't know, T. I've seen some trailers that look like he's going to be in there more than we think he is.
We'll see.
Anyway, so Strange has returned, of course, at the behest of saving Butch. Tabitha forcing Strange to fix Butch, and I love that he's marveling at kind of Solomon Grundy for a moment, like, "Oh my,
oh my."
And he implements the cure. And I do love the pseudoscience of this, by the way. I love that the idea is basically his organs remained intact because of the swamp water and the Indian Hill chemical. And basically, they're flushing out kind of the mystic swamp stuff. And they're replacing the stuff they flushed out with blood from hostages, by the way. I love we see like 3 hostages like duct taped and taped the chairs having their blood donated. To basically give Butch an infusion, then basically give him a jolt to restart his heart with all the blood, get everything pumping again. So again, I like the pseudoscience behind all that. So Tabitha gets the news. Selena's been shot. Stop the presses.
Yeah. And she is not going to Selena's side. She's going to go shoot the lunatic son of a bitch that shot Selena in the first place.
And Penguin, believe it or not, is joining Tabitha for Butch's sake, out of respect for his friend Butch, and of course for a very awesome ulterior motive later on.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. I can't wait to talk about that.
We have a really cool bit, and love how we kind of get away from this at times because we get wrapped up in the action of other stuff that's kind of been going on. Not us, I'm assuming the show sometimes. The show kind of gets distracted sometimes. Where I love this bit where Jim profiles Jeremiah, where he and Bullock are kind of like seeing how valid his claims are, and like if he's bluffing or not. Basically Jim profiles Jeremiah, saying, "Well, his whole profile is about him." Living up to his brother and like doing his brother's schemes, but in a way that surpasses him. So this is again is basically they're questioning who the heck opened his eyes to something. Who's this other guy he's referring to? Because they have no idea. So meanwhile, as that's going on, basically they're kind of doing a dance with the mayor of like, no, I want people to evacuate. No, don't evacuate anybody.
And then there's just a mysterious man standing outside the building, Dragon. Now, if there was a mysterious man staring at you from outside your office building, would you be sketched out?
I'd run from the room, yes.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be just the logical thing to do, right? Not just like stand there and take it.
Certainly.
But these people unfortunately stand there and take it, and Ray Ghul stands there like smiling like the son of a bitch he is.
Yeah, and by the way, I love this drove me nuts. I had to look into this. So the mayor, because we had two mayors for some reason, and because it's been a while since we've done so many great crazy things to all the the Jerome and Jeremiah stuff. I completely forgot like all the fallout from Sophia because the mayor here he was cowardly and corrupt and he ran away after all the Sophia business went down. That's why we had Peter McRoby as the interim mayor. Now he's just left. Now the original mayor has returned from cowering in his hole. Funny. All right, yeah. So Ray shows up and he's like, "Oh boy, that's unsettling." And boom, bomb underneath the mayor's office, and now Gotham needs another mayor.
Oh boy,
yet again. Okay,
Better call Saul.
I'm not sure Saul Goodman would be a good mayor.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see.
You don't think so?
Jimmy McGill, maybe. Saul.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so Gordon is drilling Jeremiah about the locations, the whereabouts of. Jeremiah is making. He's just wanting to talk to Bruce Wayne, and Gordon is not having it.
Yeah, and then I love that I love Jim protecting Bruce Wayne here, where he says he swears that Jeremiah will never talk to Bruce Wayne, and that he'll never have the bombs. And of course, Jeremiah has this great cutting. And this is the thing. I love how we're getting some really cool callous Joker. He's as smart as the Joker will eventually be. But again, without the theatrical quality that we all know and love, without the charisma. He has this where he says, Jim, you never were good at holding on to what you cared about.
Yeah, which is true.
Let's see.
Kind of been a big thing of his character.
Bullock interrupts the scene, and we have this really great bit. I have some really cool shots on the rewatch. I kind of really got to soak in on a rewatch. Where basically he throws Jeremiah against the wall, and then he leaves the room, and Jeremiah he slides down, and he's humming.
And he's singing "Ode to Joy."
Very much a Die Hard reference.
Oh yeah. All right, Dragon. Now, do you think Combat Carl is the most badass military guy you've ever seen in your goddamn life?
Honestly, yes.
Well, then you haven't seen. Major Rodney Harlan, 7th Division, Fort Henry.
What did you think of Major Harlan?
Honestly, I thought he was a lot of fun because I just like the idea that he's like, he comes in as the tough guy in the room, and then we get that moment later where the GCPD proves him wrong. He's like, oh, never mind. I guess I'm not really much at all. Okay, my bad. Sorry, guys.
Harlan is one of those reasons I say the beginning was a little slow in that the first half, like with Harlan, that's where things kind of slow down, where he's basically we reveal through Harlan, and this is something from No Man. This is like a no man's land thing where we have to establish that the government has given up on Gotham and declared martial law and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's what we do here by our general. Of course, something that we see in Dark Knight Rises as well, where we have the small military team that infiltrates Gotham to help him out with the relief and stuff. So Major Harlan here, he reveals that the government has declared martial law, which is not good. basically means that now he's in charge, and Jim's 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 military. I love that Jim's military roots are showcased. They're following. Sorry, I'm just going. You want to take us through this scene?
Yeah, sure. So basically, because Gordon, Gordon questions this guy, the guy arrests him just straight up, and because the guy is just like, he's just really, he's got a one-track mind. He's just like, I will not allow you to jeopardize it any further than you already have. And so basically he's charging Gordon for insubordination.
Yeah, and I love that, we had a bit of Jim's military roots. For him following orders, and of course that instantly gets contradicted. Here's the thing bugging me about Harlan. Like the minute Jim just like he touches the guy, that's when he snaps and says arrest him. Like there's no middle ground there. There's no just like, okay, the guy's obviously stressed out and he's trying to warn me of something dire here, but nope, it's just okay, arrest this man, get him out of Gotham.
Oh well, plot hole.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that bugged me about that first half there. Well, Harlan's not really making the best tactical decisions here.
All right, so the goons that are taking Gordon away are quickly made work of by none other than the Riddler, who takes Gordon hostage for his own benefit.
Yes, and I love this fundamental idea, kind of that Snyder idea of the show, where again, like kind of fate intervenes if you're to be taken out of Gotham. Where again, Jim is literally going to be taken across the bridge and to a base across the river. That's what they're saying there, and again, I love it's like kind of Gotham in its way. Again, kind of that Scott Snyder philosophy of, hey, the city, if you think you know everything about the city, it's going to like shut you down and say that you're wrong here. If you try to like go against the city or try to think you know what's going on, you're going to be excommunicated from. In this case, Jim's work is not done in Gotham, so the Riddler kind of intervenes. And he knocks everybody out and then takes them hostage. So again, I like that fate intervening via the Riddler. It's kind of neat.
And the Riddler, of course, throughout the season, one of the cool things is that he's kind of established himself as like a larger than life presence, at least through certain subsects of Gotham.
Yeah. Now, let's see. Okay, so after Riddler tranks the soldiers, we have this great. As Riddler tranks Gordon, we have this great line though, where he gives him like a riddle that basically the answer is sleep, and I just love Jim very tiredly just annoys us. The answer is sleep, Ed. And then of course he's finish, Jim. Then we have this great yin yang shot when we come back. It's like Riddler's upside down in the shot, and Jim's like he's laying on a table. We're having fun camera angles this episode. Just rewatch, and then Jim wakes up, and then we have just basically Enigma doing his impression of Pee Wee Herman, "Rise and shine."
Oh my god!
So there's a lot of fun Riddler dialogue. Corey Michael Smith's having a blast here, basically channeling his game show Riddler here, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, and I feel like every season finale, we've got kind of almost an evolution of the Riddler, like the Riddler leveling up, if you will.
Yeah. And, yes, and, we have some great dialogue like, "Good morning, sweetheart," and, I know what it seems like waking up drugged in the Narrows, history repeating itself, I know. And remember when you punched me in the face, and he always punches him in the face? He's having a blast throughout the scene. I love that we see with the game show personality. We see the game show props from his game show in the Narrows, like the giant question mark. So basically, what we've done so cleverly in this scene is visually it looks like a '60s Batman death trap in so many ways.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The dark version of a '60s death trap.
That's exactly like when the show can hit that on the head and really do it right. Dragon, that's like when the show is at its sweet spot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and quite literally, out of all the death traps, this is probably the one that's most borrowed from the '60s show, because Batman and Robin were like once going to be like stamped by a giant printing press, like a giant stamp. So it's like very identical.
God.
Very identical situation.
Oh.
So basically, the idea is he has this weighted press, and he's going for like a real kind of I love the slow educational way to die that the Riddler's presenting to Gordon here, where it's basically it was an old school confession tactic, where basically in the olden days you put pressure on a guy until he confesses, and because it was a flawed method, people died every time they tried it. So they're just doing that to add insult to injury. And he's testing the Gordon's body's tolerance to the pressure. The point of all this, with the weight, the kind of the weight pun of it all, is that he views Jim as Lee's dead weight before she can move on with him in the relationship after witnessing. I just love the fact that he just saw like a nice little moment. It wasn't romantic at all. It was just like Jim saying, you know, Lee, I'll always care about you. Honestly, just kind of breaking it off with her to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. That's the... And Dragon, the funny thing is, I can kind of relate to the Riddler in some ways with this. Like, I am very bad at reading social cues one way or another. I'm man enough to admit that, you know. I think we've all been there to some extent.
Yep. And, yes. And again, I love, with that, Teak, I love it's proof that the Riddler can't let anything go and move forward. And that his first love is crime. I love that by this whole scheme that he's worked up here for Jim. It's the fact that he can't just move on with the success that he has in life. He always has to prove superiority and dominance over something, usually intellectually, but in this case, it's kind of out of that pure sense of ego and jealousy. You know, he has to be faithful to his first love before Lee, which is, you know, just crime, and like the most like ironic, brutal form of crime he can think of.
Right.
All right. So as that death trap's in the works, poor Jim having like all this weight put on him, which is it's gonna be brutal. Raish comes back
again.
Yes, not from the dead this time. He just comes back. So Raish comes back. He takes out the Femme Fatale League of Assassins, and he comes to
Dragon God. How many like groups of Leagues of Assassin members have been taken out throughout the course of this season?
That's the thing. Barbara has a ridiculous amount of, because that thing, we had like a fixed number, and then we just kept adding on to it and just like replacing them. So I don't know where they're all coming from.
I'm willing to. I'm pretty sure that you and I are on the same page of maybe the League of Assassin stuff being, you know, it's not nothing. Like it is kind of interesting groundwork to lay for the next season, but by the same token, I think it's the weakest stuff that we have in the episode.
In this episode, absolutely. It's really weak in this episode. I can say that. And honestly, again, with the Barbara in relation to the League stuff has been kind of the only drain on. Honestly, we'll have to re-examine the whole season, obviously, once after this. But I think, honestly, the only drain I can really think of to the season as a whole is the League stuff in relation to Barbara.
I hear you.
But yeah, this scene really bugged me though, because again, we had some great. I thought we hit a good benchmark with the. Again, it wasn't perfect, but at least we did something with it between Raish and Barbara, and it seemed to be over. And now we brought it back when we in the finale of all episodes. Why do we need to bring it back in the finale where Raish comes to Barbara and he claims that he basically to simplify it here. He tells her about the whole no man's land plan, the vision of Gotham, and he claims that he wants her to join him because he doesn't have all of his demon's head power, and he doesn't want to kill her and take it back. He doesn't want to do any of that. He offers her a position of power, like, work with me again. And she says, "Well, what about the portrait?
God, here we go with the portrait, Dragon. Jesus Christ!
Just to refresh briefly, there was a portrait.
Yeah, please.
See, folks, there was a portrait that Barbara found. And with that, there was a portrait that Barbara found, and that portrait barely looked like Ra's al Ghul in that portrait. And there's a woman that looked vaguely like Barbara, and she interpreted that she was important. Then Ra's shut her down really brutally and hilariously, shut her down, saying, "No, that was a whore that I killed."
Oh, God.
His own words, his words. And basically, he's now saying that he's claiming that he lied about the portrait just to hurt her, and he wants her to leave Gotham with him and join him and all that stuff. And again, it's like, guys, we had like a great ending to that ridiculous plot point. Why bring it back and say it actually happened? Come on.
Yeah.
It's to me, it seems like a big cop out. Like, come on, guys, that's backtrack.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so then he's mentioning that you think on it. You got at least a day to think it over, and he refers to his vision that will allow his heir to rise, the heir to the demon to rise. Of course, we know is Bruce Wayne. All right, so we got Bruce and Alfred cuffed. Why don't you take us through this? why don't you take us through this part, Bruce and Alfred in the GCPD?
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, so let me see. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm kind of lost on my notes here.
Right, Bruce and Alfred, they're
So,
tough.
wait, is this where Bullock is confronting the general guy?
Yeah, but yeah, essentially, yes. Bullock's confronting the general. Right. Okay, so basically, the general has retrieved Bruce and Alfred from the hospital, and that's because initially I was watching this and I was wondering why the heck are Bruce and Alfred handcuffed? Because that's just ridiculous. It's like
Oh,
the
okay.
general
I'm
more
sorry. I'm sorry. I know where we are now. I am. My bad. My bad.
right.
Okay, so yeah, Bruce and Alfred, they are being led in by handcuffs, and that is because Mr. General Smartass here. I'm sorry, Dragon, remind me of his name. I didn't have it written down.
Harlan.
Harlan. All right, Harlan.
Yeah, Harlan.
Okay, so Mr. Harlan here, he basically steps in and makes, just a terrible call, just a really non-civil call. Like, we're pretty much going to arrest Bruce Wayne and his butler and get him down here to talk to the killer clown.
Yeah, here's the thing. When I was watching this, I kind of discovered, I kind of filled in the logic gaps here. I figured that it was they were dragged against their will from the hospital because like there's nothing that again Bruce May had promised to Selene he wasn't going to leave the hospital, and Alfred probably got into a fight with one of them, and then they were just kind of arrested and then taken there against their will.
Which again just kind of shows the incompetence of these army people. And I do like that as kind of a, I don't know, Dragon. I enjoy it a little bit more than you do because it kind of just, it's fun more than anything else. It's, to me, it doesn't really drag the episode down or anything.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, so then basically the general's plan here is okay. I'm going to get him Bruce Wayne. Gordon's he's out of the equation here, presumably being taken across the river. Doesn't know what's happened quite yet.
God.
And just bring Bruce Wayne here again. This is a horrible plan the general's concocted. Let's give the terrorist what he wants. Let's see what happens.
And so here we go. We have our kind of first unofficial Bruce and Joker interrogation scene, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. So again, this is kind of our Dark Knight equivalent here. It's more Silence of the Lambs, but I'm just saying it's kind of like the big kind of interrogation between the proto Batman and the proto Joker. So it's kind of neat.
So basically what Jeremiah is doing is laying down kind of his philosophy about why they should be best friends. And his philosophy is essentially that Bruce is what Jeremiah used to be before Jerome got to him. And so he feels that he feels that Bruce is at war with his true nature. And the only way to really win that war is to embrace the side of himself that Jeremiah represents.
Yes, and again, I love it's that Snyder idea of helping, of a Joker who wants to help Batman, and also kind of that meta like reflection for the series of like, hey, I not only do I want to help Bruce, I want to help the show get to the point where it needs a Batman.
Right.
So it's a great twofold thing, and definitely this episode and this scene and a later scene, they definitely confirm the whole the brother that he had in Jerome. They actually say it in dialogue here, so I wasn't far off with that. And after all, it was
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Bruce, I love Bruce's response in this. It's a really well acted scene. David Mazuzzi's on fire this episode. He's so Batman in this episode. It's ridiculous.
Dragon, at this point, I guess they're saving it for season 5, obviously, but the only thing we are missing is the bat imagery. I'd say other than that, we're pretty much there.
Yeah, I honestly don't think you've been informed yet, but there's a huge detail they gave us that we'll speculate on for season 5, which is awesome.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, in the episode, they revealed something outside. It's like a news.
Okay, good. I didn't want to seem like an idiot and not catch a huge Easter egg here.
No, you didn't miss it. Well, there are some Easter eggs, but don't run. Even for the Batman fans, they're kind of subtle Easter eggs. But,
okay, fair enough.
All right, let's see. Anyway, so the big, let's see, he gets under his skin asking about Selena's condition and basically shares the reason they just say about why they're best friends. And then Bruce, his response is great, and he says that we share a darkness, but the difference is I can control mine. he sees strength in Bruce, and basically what Jeremiah does here. And I love these also. It's a fun cut and a fun kind of foreshadow for where we're going at the end of all this. He's in a restraint that, again, it's very Silence of the Lambs, but what it really looks identical to is it's the restraints that the Joker is brought in with in Arkham Asylum. Joker's wheeled into the asylum in one of these.
Oh,
It's a great, like, again, it's definitely the Arkham Asylum game to the eventual escalation of Arkham City.
oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Bruce, so he's being teased at the whole Ra's al Ghul of it all, and of course now it's getting intense because
Bruce is kind of like demanding a name, like Batman interrogation style.
What Jeremiah wants in this scene, this is the great kind of seduction of it all here. Jeremiah needs Bruce to get closer so he can be kidnapped, essentially. So he needs to rile him and shake his cage, essentially, and get him close. And I will say this though, I think this is a great scene. It's so well acted. However, I think Bruce should be able to piece together who he's talking about a little faster than he is.
God,
that's the one thing. Look, I get it. Don't know. It's a great reveal. I'm just saying, can we excise a few middle phrases?
No, I mean you're absolutely right. It's just kind of like especially considering Bruce has spent like the better part of 2 seasons dealing with this guy at this point.
Yeah. By the way, Jeremiah had a really clever plan because what he did is he kind of played kind of poker with it all here, where he had one additional bomb. Because again, all the bombs were confiscated by the GCPD. He used the one bomb to lure Bruce there, so the rest of the plan and getting the rest of the bombs could unfold. So it's a really clever plan, kind of like the Dark Knight kind of joke of getting the GCPD of it all,
Uh-huh.
So, in creating, let's see, basically. Jeremiah says he's creating a Gotham that not only that Bruce needs, he's creating a Gotham that Bruce needs, which again is great and very personal, and that he's stylizing it very, very much towards Bruce. Your Dark Island, Bruce. Basically, he's been building a Gotham into a labyrinth. He was building his own
the wording of the Dark Island, Dragon. Can you tell me if that's ever been used to describe Gotham in the comics?
Well, I mean, more so. It sounds more like Arkham because Arkham is many a time an island. But I mean, it's a cool thing I never really thought about. Because think about it, if you get rid of the bridges, then Gotham really is an island. So essentially, it's a good foreshadow for the plan, really.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this episode does a good job of kind of recontextualizing the whole No Man's Land story arc and doing something new with it.
It does, and again, Teak, I'm loving how we're mixing a few things. Definitely some Arkham City, there's No Man's Land, and what we're doing with it all here, of course, the labyrinthian kind of Scott Snyder Court of Owls motif. We're applying that to Jeremiah's character of the Labyrinth Maker, and what we're doing here is now we're looking at him as an architect, as a builder, where he's building it specifically for Bruce, where he's tailoring it. He now has a new mission he was just building it because it was clever and it was kind of for the smartest people in Gotham in a way. He was kind of a challenge, kind of an architectural accomplishment. Now it's something that has a better end goal, a more personal end goal. This is going to make my surrogate brother the person he needs to be. I tried driving him insane. It didn't work. I'm going to challenge him in the way he actually needs to be challenged. And again, he wants to help Bruce, and it's so twisted. He wants to help him go through the metamorphosis that he doesn't view that he went through. So it's great. Anyway, so then Bruce, learning the name, he gets angry. He's grabbing Jeremiah. Wants a name. Oh, but you know his name. I love the minute that he says the name, though. This is the cool reveal. The minute he says Ra's al Ghul, then there's a kidnapping bat exit that goes on where the lights go out and then Bruce is kidnapped. Everybody,
God,
how awesome is that? I mean, that's how you end an act right there.
Well, it's almost kind of like we're not quite to the full blown bat exit just yet. We've had teases of the bat exit here and there, but it's we're gonna hold out a little longer on that one, folks.
Sure. All right, let's see. So Jim Gordon, 300 pounds later. No, he doesn't need to go on the Atkins diet, folks. There's 300 pounds of pressure later. Riddler's continuing his game show host mentality. I love that he's
every season finale, Dragon. This has become a tradition here in Gotham.
Yep. I love that he's talking into the remote that controls the weight like it's a microphone. He's
yep.
Jim. It's how do you feel? So Lee walks in and she spoils Ed's fun. Basically, kind of puts it to a halt and saying 450 pounds. That's how much the human body can take before the ribs will kill him. So she confronts Ed, basically the kind of streamline a little here. Basically, she confronts him on thinking that, like, you decide my fate. You don't decide my fate. No, neither does him, and neither does Jim.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. The Riddler is just trying to defend himself. He's like, okay, you know what? Let's skip the ugly details. Let's talk about why this is a good thing for both of us. Because you are the woman that I am meant to love. And then so Lee is just like, you really think so little of me that basically Lee's calling him out like, wow, you really think that I would go back to Jim Gordon for something, as we were discussing, Dragon, something as frivolous like a goodbye kiss? Then you don't deserve me.
Exactly. So she reveals that she's leaving Gotham tonight, and basically, like, look, if you want to join me, join me. Otherwise, if you still hung up on this, don't. If you kill Jim Gordon, don't even bother.
Mm.
So, it's basically Riddler again, basically trying to turn this into an upside. He says, Jim, it shows me. You can have this. You can have the city. He just leaves him. He leaves him the remote, and he says, "You can have Gotham. I want." It is the ultimate insult in retrospect. Again, it was more an insult last episode because, again, the Riddler again he stole Jim's happy ending in the grand scheme.
Right, right.
Stole the baby, stole everything from him.
Oh man, he chose me, Jim. Did you hear that?
Did you
That's
hear
all
that,
I
Mario?
wanted.
She chose me, Mario. Ha ha.
But she loves me, Ed.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you beyond all the death, Mario.
Oh God.
Okay, so meanwhile we got. Let's see, we got.
So Jeremiah has already escaped. Informs Alfred to the Gotham City Sirens, which is a fun pair up.
Yep, not only the Sirens but also the Penguin.
Yeah, yeah. So I love these kind of different subgroups coming together, and of course, with the Penguin, we're kind of hiding something in the background that we'll talk about a little later on.
Everyone, as Barbara, I love how Barbara's kind of goes through like, okay, everyone has a job here. I'm gonna kill Raish. You're gonna save Bruce. Tabitha's gonna kill Jeremiah, and then of course Penguin's gonna protect Tabitha. So everyone has their little jobs on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Jim and Lee, they have like we reveal that Lee definitely said what she said to save Jim. She wanted to save Jim as kind of repayment for the kind words that he said in the previous episode. And Jim reveals what he was about to say before all heck broke loose in the GCP when seemingly Jerome sent his cult. Basically, Jim reveals that he would have left Gotham if he could do things over again. He would have left Gotham the minute he saw Lee at the beginning of season 3. He would have. If you can go back, he would have done that, and they could have had a life together. Then Lee against a real. This is the Lee I wanted to hear in season 3. It's like an excellent Lee response here. She says, "Then yet you wouldn't be you. Basically, you wouldn't. That wouldn't be good for you."
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a melancholy sense of. There's a lot of big cliffhangers, and oh my God, is this person going to live and die in this finale, Dragon? But I feel like the air of finality to this Lee and Gordon scene is definitely one of the things that hits home, because this is a couple that we've wanted to see get together since season 2,
Yep.
or I guess even since the back half of season 1.
Yeah.
And so, to have this sort of finality to it, even though we know that she's probably not going to end up with a Riddler either, but I don't know. It was just a nice kind of touching, and of course we all love Marina Baccarin, God bless her soul. So, it was a good scene for her.
Yeah, and she says, she kisses him goodbye, and then she tells him to save Gotham. It's like a nice, inspiring note to go out on. Like, tell him, Jim, what they do, you do best. Save Gotham.
And if there's one person who knows that Jim Gordon is always going to put the city above any human contact or relationship in his life, it's going to be Lee.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so Bullock fills Jim in that Jerome, he's escaped. He has all the bombs and Bruce Wayne.
Not good.
All right. So Bruce, meanwhile, was brought to Raish, and this really I love this location. I love that it gives you like a great view of all of Gotham. It's a really great set piece. This is what Raish wanted. He wants to show Bruce this vision that he had. So Bruce is brought to Raish and Jeremiah with some cronies in tow.
Call me crazy, Dragon, but it kind of reminds me of the clock tower apartment that we got in season 1.
In a way, but it's kind of that crossed with kind of spatially and kind of, I guess, height wise. It's kind of like you know, the the climax, I think it's the pewter tower. I think that's what it's called. The tower in the Dark Knight. Where Joker and Batman are facing off against, has that great view of Gotham. It's kind of
Also,
like
dare I say it, like kind of like the spacious feel of it and the empty spaces, kind of gives up a little bit of a, an upscale warehouse vibe to it. You got the warehouse factor going on.
yes, there's definitely a warehouse vibe. But
Anyways.
anyway, so Bruce is brought to Raish to watch Gotham fall. Basically, to watch the Gotham fall to ruin. Everything's in place. So again, that's bad news for our guys. Again, so he claims the Dark Knight will rise out of the crucible of blood. Out of a crucible of blood, a Dark Knight will rise. That's my vision. That's you, Bruce.
Uh-huh.
Basically, for a Gotham that for a Dark Knight that both Gotham and Raish needs. So Bruce. Oh yes, and then Jeremiah says that Bruce is the brother that Jeremiah never had, and that Gotham will be their legacy. It'll be it'll be the trio's legacy. And I love how seeing all three of these characters. I really love. Again, they really sold me on the whole Jeremiah and Ra's al Ghul thing. Bear in mind, again, I always love that demon laughs.
What I like about that is that Jeremiah is admitting straight up he's not in this thing for the mythicism or the tall tales or the legends or anything like that. He's just in it for the power. So I like that these two men can approach a situation very, very differently from each other, but still have, a big sense of diplomacy about it.
Like both Valeska brothers wanted to leave an impact on Gotham, and specifically what Jeremiah wants to do is again tailor that to Bruce. That's the new vision, and that's the vision that Ra's kind of opened his eyes to. So again, I love that by proxy of it all made a tremendous amount of sense in the grand scheme of the season. Where we justify the Ra's al Ghul stuff with this ending. So I'm not saying it was unjustified. I'm just saying it makes even more sense now, seeing how it kind of Ra's set into motion the Dark Knight and kind of the let's just say I don't know what a good chess piece that the Joker would be in reflection of a Dark Knight, but just kind of the antithesis of the Dark Knight with kind of a proto Joker. I love they put both pieces on the board to kind of contend against each other. So they're both we're going to watch as Gotham falls, we rise together. And it was a really good line. So these three together, really really good pick. All right. So, Jim and Bullock, they're working on tracking the police vans. The police vans house the bombs, and of course, the police vans, wherever they are, that's where the bombs are. And as they're doing that, I love that Jim puts together, a good detective work. I love that Jim puts together the bridge. He has this bridge realization where he realizes, oh my God, of course it's going to be the bridges. All the casualties, but more so, it's they cut off the exit, the Dark Island of all. That's where he gets the whole Dark Island bridge. Take away a bridge, it's in water, it's an island. Makes all sense in the world. So, Jim, there's this beautiful scene to you. I love these. So it's like a season 1 scene with Jim and Gordon. I love this. It's a really good, but it has so much great payoff after all he's went through this season. I love that Jim retakes the GCPD as Major Harlan. He tries to make a fuss like, "Hey, arrest Jim Gordon," and all that stuff. And
he's got like a couple military guys behind him. Like maybe like upwards of 5.
Yeah, and totally.
But then this is a good moment, because Dragon, I don't know about you, but if Harlan was Ivy, maybe this would work out for him. But unfortunately for him, Harlan is not Ivy, and so the entire GCPD has Gordon's back in this moment.
Such an awesome moment, and it feels so No Man's Land. Because Tiki, again, it's not a huge part of No Man's Land, but it's definitely whenever No Man's Land's adapted, we always have to work in kind of the military outside view of it all. And I love this scene saying, I just love the personal message of, at its core, the government has given up on Gotham, but the city itself is sustaining itself with the people within it. So the law of the city is what's kind of dictating this situation. So I love it's kind of the cops before it's the government. So I always love that. Everyone's it's the boys in blue versus kind of the guys in the suits.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's see. So Ra's is definitely teasing No Man's Land, basically teasing what season 5 is going to be about. In a way, he's teasing that No Man's Land will it'll be every man for himself. Everything's going to be sectioned off, and the territory is going to be again, it's a mixture between No Man's Land meets the Snyder philosophy of Gotham is a city that will challenge you, and basically, if you're strong enough, you'll be able to face your worst nightmares and be stronger for it. So basically, that's the Gotham that Ra's has foreseen. So I love that. Again, I love that mixture. Again, this No Man's Land has just been the perfect mixture this season that Tiki and I have been going on about. So,
yeah.
Barbara, she returns.
Oh, do we have to talk about Barbara Dragon?
Briefly, because then all heck breaks loose. So Barbara returns with the reforged knife. And,
the reforged knife, because this knife has just been causing us trouble the whole time, but whatever, let's quickly get it over with.
So basically, this leads to a crazy shootout and a fight. So again, we intercut a few awesome things here. So less the fight scenes going on there, more so we have the bridge evacuation, and also big thing, Gordon has a trench coat on.
Yeah, which is going to be big in the final shots of the episode, Dragon, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So the bombs are about to go off, and there's this great image of Jimmy sees like this little girl abandoned on the bridge. So he runs to save the little girl, and as that's happening, Ray, she's basically spelling out the knife fact to Barbara. I love this callback. Basically saying, Barbara, what are you, stupid? You can't. If you stab me with the thing, it's not going to work. How many times we got to go over this? It's like, yeah, I know. So as that's happening, we have this really cool bit. Again, really, all the Jeremiah stuff is really well shot when I think about it. All the really great shots are Jeremiah shots, where Jeremiah is fighting Tabitha, and basically he gets a knife. Of course, Joker with a knife is a terrifying thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he has her pinned, and he has like that curved knife of hers, and he says, "You must be very disappointed." And it's a really creepy, really great creepy shot where like his face he looks very Joker-esque looking at her, and then of course Penguin saves her by shooting him in the arm, kind of classic Joker-Penguin rivalry homage there. So again, Penguin saved Tabitha. It's a big moment, and again, it's false sense of security, folks. It's going to be awesome.
We'll see what happens.
Essentially, they all gang up on Rachel. You have like Alfred and Barbara and Bruce fighting Rachel simultaneously. Then I like how they. Here's the thing: I'm mixed on this bit because I like how they execute it. I hate the fact that it happened though. So Barbara uses Bruce to kill Raish, and I like that. That's fine. I like that Bruce didn't actually kill him, but it was like a fun loophole. Like, well, Bruce was like his hands were tied quite literally, and he was used as an implement to kill somebody. So that's interesting. You rarely see that these days. And I'm bummed out that we've killed Raish yet again. I was hoping that Raish was going to be around like the mentor Bruce next season, but it's.
Yeah, right.
I don't doubt. I assume he's going to come back, but I doubt that he'll be back next season.
Ra's al Ghul, motivational speaker, Dragon. What do you think he's going to do? Like open like a kung fu, like, hey, boys and girls, I'm gonna teach you all the ways of the mystic arts here in downtown No Man's Land, Gotham.
Sure, if it helps, sure.
All right.
No, seriously. It's like, I mean, I think in the future, like, I will never see this, so it's not important. It's just like I think in the distant future, Raish could come back to like Raish.
Okay, Dragon. I'm just gonna like throw the gauntlet down there for you. I'm sick of this whole like, oh my God, Raish died, but he could come back. Like, just keep him dead. Just stop. That's
what I'm saying. In the show,
he's dead. The show's run its course with him at this point.
Well, that's what they're saying here. He's not going to come back in the show. I'm just saying, like, Ra's al Ghul's a guy who's never dead. So, like, if anyone's upset about, well, in the distant future, he'd probably come back. But we're not going to see that, so it's not a concern. So, but I love that. I love this, though. I love with Raish's ending, though. I love that Raish got to view his handiwork. So, as Raish is viewing his handiwork, all these events kind of unfold simultaneously. As he's viewing his handiwork, with the bridge is blowing up, we have this great shot. Jim, just the nick of time, saving the girl.
Yep.
Jeremiah, he has this very Joker-esque smile as the bombs go off, and it's probably the most Joker-looking shot of him in the whole of Jeremiah has in the whole season here, where he has like that smile. He has like when he's been punched in the face repeatedly, he has the dark circles that make him look very much like the let's just say it looks a lot like the some of the Telltale Batman games. The Joker we had there, but with red lips though.
So here we go with the bridges. This is the whole Dragon. I think this moment is played better in this episode than it is in The Dark Knight Rises. And I'm not trying to turn this into a Dark Knight Rises sucks conversation.
No, I agree with you though.
I'm just saying, like, dramatically, of course, because we've been following the show for 4 full seasons now, and because we know that season 5 is going to be the last one. The fact that they are able to get this far into the No Man's Land plan, You know, it's like the bridges are down. Like, you know, people are stuck where they are. You know, like this is going to be the reality that these people are going to be living in for the next, presumably all of the next season. So I'm really excited to see some of that go down. I really hope that the writers don't blow their opportunity with it.
Yeah, I'm with you in that. I think what sold it for me, Tiki, and being a little better in Rises, is that I love how we have this moment where they all take in the sight and realize this is like a big sweeping change for season 5, all simultaneous. Like they all gather by the window for a moment. They're looking at like all the bridges go out. It's a huge event. We treat it like that, and I love that. Like the dawning of a new age in Gotham, and of course, with that, as the bridges go out, the blackouts, or the city blacks out, and that's like it's terrifying. So, Raish's last moment is telling, as he begins to fade away and turn to dust, like no skeleton this time, it turns to dust. He tells Bruce that it's your choice. Stay Bruce Wayne or become Gotham's Dark Knight. Then he evaporates in the dust. No, not that way. And
God. I don't want to go, Babs. Let's face it, Dragon. We're just gonna run that joke into the ground forever, as we should.
Let's see. So Bruce. So then basically
we have this awesome shot, this lineup of Penguin, Babs, Alfred, and Tabitha. You know, tell me that's not a group that you wouldn't want to see kick ass.
Well, that's the shot I'm talking about. That's like them all taking it in. Right
oh,
there.
Sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I also love the following shot where Bruce. I love this. I call it the Destiny shot here, where Bruce is like, and there's a great shot again. This is where I'm loving the location. T, because right behind Bruce, as he's been told, this is Raish's is one of his mentors is going to disappear in front of him. Right behind him, and it kind of racks focus for a bit. We see Gotham in ruin behind him. So Bruce has that's the Destiny culture. Like, Bruce, Gotham is in desperate need of your help. Are you going to help it or not?
Yeah, kind of one of the age-old Batman philosophy questions there. So,
and the call to action.
How it goes.
Yeah, call to action and storytelling, I guess. So Lee's stuck in Gotham because of this bridge thing. It's definitely deterred her. One, because it's kind of hard to get at Gotham right now.
That would be a factor, Dragon. You would think so, right?
Bear in mind, we do know that people are getting evacuated from the city, though. So it's not everyone's necessarily trapped. People choose to stay, and that's the point of No Man's Land. People were offered. Some people were allowed to leave. Again, probably through boat would be my guess, or helicopter, whichever. The point is, the Narrows are in need of Leslie Tompkins, as they were also in this kind of the event itself too. So basically, Lee's stuck in Gotham as a moral thing, kind of a practical sense. Or Night's off. That's the main point there. So take us through this. Take us through the whole Lee enigma of it all.
Okay, so so basically Enigma, he's sensing like right away. He's like, okay, she's leaving town. I'm the idiot. You know what? I can't have this. My ego is not going to take this. I'm just going to stab a knife in her back right now. I'm just going to walk up to her all sly and clever like, and, just do it. But Dragon, Lee, because Lee is a clever woman, she's one step ahead of him, and she grabs the knife for herself. Yeah,
it's a very noir. Their relationship's been something very film noir. It's been very kind of darkly seductive, and I love how we have that here, where she basically, here's what I read it as. I think she lures him in with kind of a riddle that she doesn't finish. It's what it read to me as, where she starts what sounds like a riddle, then he gets close, and then, she stabs him right before he's about to stab her, and it's just in seemingly his final moments here, seemingly. He offers. She reveals that, hey, my offer was real. I did have feelings for you, but now again, I love how she said what you were saying a couple episodes ago, Tiki, where, I would never be who you wanted me to be, and basically you'd kill me. It's what you do. Basically saying you'd kill me like Kringle.
I mean, it's the hard reality of the situation, but when you're dealing with someone like Edward Nygma, that's kind of the. Some men have a jealousy problem. Edward Nygma has a murdering problem. What are you going to do?
That earlier scene with Jim is proof of that. So I love that you absolutely see that, what would have happened there.
But in the midst of all this pathos and tragic, like we can never be together stuff, they do share one final kiss as they're going down with each other, Dragon, as they are stabbing each other. So I do like the pathos and the symbolism behind this. It is a very well played moment, and to me, it kind of reads as almost Romeo and Juliet-esque.
I do see that too. I mean, I love the surprise where Lee stabs him, and then that kiss they share after Riddler says again, like providing some comfort, saying, "I do see you," saying that yes, you're right about me, but by the same token, I do see you for who you are, though, and that counts for something. And they kiss as they Romeo and Juliet the heck out of this scene.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and we have, oh my god, this is a great reveal. So, okay, so we reveal that Butch is cured. Hooray!
Oh, here we go, Dragon. Okay, so I just want to address right now one of the big criticisms with season 4 is that Oswald Cobblepot has not had a purpose. And man, oh man, Dragon, do they pull the wool over our eyes this episode? Do they really reveal kind of like the longest con yet, the biggest Penguin's umbrella, and the
I
most
know.
personal Penguin's umbrella of the series so far?
Technically, been going on for 2 seasons.
I know. It's pretty crazy.
So essentially, what Andrew said, so Butch, he's cured. He's reunited with Tabitha.
And of course, Dragon, the thing is, this is the first time we're seeing regular Butch all season, and I'm not sure about you, but I'm sure you felt the same way I did, where it's like, oh, it's Butch. We love to see you, Butch. Awesome. We love Butch. And this is great. And he's reunited with his best friend Penguin, and they're going to be a merry old trio.
I mean, I love that he forgave the Penguin. That's what I was loving in that scene as it was unfolding. Like, oh my god, like he's been reunited with Tabitha. He's just kind of forgiven all debts. They've been through a lot. It's just, oh, Oswald, how could I ever repay you? And basically, the Penguin says, Butch, I consider you a friend, and I'm truly sorry. And then, of course, when he says truly sorry,
Oh man, my heart sank, Dragon. I was like, oh no, don't you do it, Penguin. Don't you do it.
so again, I was surprised by who he did this to, but he shot Butch and he killed him.
And once again, Dragon, this is kind of like the season finale itis going on, because let's have a checklist so far of people who are in danger. We've got like Riddler, and we've got Selena, of course. Selena's hanging in the precipice at the hospital. We've got Riddler and Lee, who are in the middle of their Romeo and Juliet stunt. We have Butch, who's seemingly dead.
Yep, technically, we got Raish.
Yeah, we got Raish. Yeah. I mean, cataclysmic is a word I would use to describe this finale, and that doesn't even get into the whole no man's land. The bridge is being blown out and everything like that. So
yeah,
crazy stuff.
So yeah, and the ultimate Penguin's umbrella revenge plot for Tabitha for way back in season 2, killing Mrs. Cobblepot, killing Penguin's mom. So, and again, Penguin has. I mean, this is honestly, I gotta look back. There are a lot of good scenes. Robin Lord Taylor's never let us down. This might be the best scene in the season. I don't know.
Ooh, I mean, that's just, yeah. I mean, it's really good.
At the very least, I think it might be the best written scene for him. I don't know.
I think it's definitely the best Penguin scene in the season.
All right. So I love it. This is a really great scene where he says, I took something you loved away. And and basically what he says, I took something, you took something I loved away, I took something you loved away, and he's letting her live with it. And when you've suffered enough, he shoots her in the leg before she can charge at him. When you've suffered enough, I'll kill you too. And she says, "Oh, but not if I kill you first." And then there's a Robin Lord Taylor. It's just he's wonderful here, where he just like he goes from like this awesome cocky menace to like this great kind of non sequitur in the delivery where he says, "You're welcome to try." He just says it so charming.
Yeah, he basically says it like kind of like a coworker, like, "Oh, I know I'm better than you, so go ahead, try and get that position. Try and get that raise. You're welcome to try, but you'll never beat me."
But this makes all the sense in the world that again he's been gunning for Tabitha for a long time. We've seen him come close.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's been in the background, kind of brewing for a while. And so, while it might not be the flashiest Penguin's umbrella that we've ever seen, it's definitely the most long-term and effective Penguin's umbrella, I would say.
And you got to imagine again, Penguin kind of having a bit of that spontaneity that I told Riddler about a few last season. You have the idea is like when you saw Butch, and basically when Butch told him that he wanted a cure, that's when Penguin got a little light bulb moment. He said, "Okay, I'm going to cure Butch, and I'm going to reunite him with Tabitha." And in that moment, the moment he's cured and reunited with her, that's when I strike. The fact that he had that in mind that whole time.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
it's so
I mean, you
sadistic
could
and
just see
wonderful.
him like kind of like laying in bed at night, like it's gonna be perfect. Like, like Butch is gonna be walked out and he's gonna be cured, and they're gonna be all like, "Hooray me! Hooray, Penguin! You saved the day, Penguin!" And then I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna have my line down. I'm gonna be like, "Butch, I'm so sorry." You could just see him like he's like a kid at Christmas time.
And the crazy thing is, I really do believe him. I believe that he is friends with Butch, but he had to do that for justice for his mother. I believe it. He didn't. I believe they didn't hesitate to. That's the difference between Penguin and any other guy. Like, he wouldn't hesitate in that
Hmm.
decision. I loved it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Selena,
Selena, right, right, right. So
she's been paralyzed. So we've officially said that she is paralyzed from the waist down.
now, is this like she's never gonna walk again? Yeah, well, the official quote is it's likely permanent, so it's
Yeah.
not like completely 100% set in stone. I feel like that likely was set there, just in case they change their minds on it. But at any rate, Dragon, it seems like they're going a bold new direction with the Catwoman character and kind of mixing her into the Oracle character. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think she's going to be real computer savvy, but I mean, we're definitely doing something like that. It's going to be I think it's going to be a reminder of why. I think that's going to be their excuse for like why Bruce and Selena can't get together. Like Bruce might blame himself for what happened to him. Maybe that'll be it.
Okay.
We'll see. So Bruce makes a big choice here. Makes a big choice to.
Oh, this is a fantastic kind of way to end the season right here, Dragon. Everything is kind of lining up and getting into place.
Oh yeah, I love that we set up this promise here. So at the very least, Selena's going to be peeved at Bruce for breaking his promise, and that's going to like definitely put them in kind of like a weird kind of place next. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean they're going to be in opposite kind of places next season. Where Bruce makes the choice. He has a choice to either go with her or stay in Gotham and deal with the mess that's in Gotham right now. And he tells Alfred. Basically, he tells Alfred, I'm making Gotham my responsibility. And this moment here feels very much, and I'm reading into it here, but of course, it's with the Phantasm and all. It feels very much like a scene from Mask of the Phantasm. It feels like an equivalent, not to the same effect. And of course, they can still do it at this moment right next season, by all means. But it felt tonally like the big scene in Phantasm, where the birth of Batman sequence, where Bruce puts on the mask for the first time, and he scares Alfred with kind of a face of destiny, like the boy I
Right,
raised is
right.
now gone. So he's kind of seeing that in this moment where he basically says, like, Gotham is not your responsibility. I'm making it my responsibility. He
I
tells
mean, that
Alfred,
is appropriate enough because this scene is very much kind of the ultimate letting go. It's the ultimate like, all right, like we've done all we could do together. It's time for you to take matters into your own hands. It's time for you to kind of take this thing to the next level and be who you're meant to be.
exactly. So he tells Alfred to go with Selena and make sure she's okay. And he says, the minute she's okay, the minute I'm sure about that, I'm going to find you. And so it's a beautiful moment between Bruce and Alfred to go out on.
Sure, sure.
All right, so the major here. So the major establishes basically essentially he establishes the no man. He and Bullock in this scene they establish the no man land premise where essentially the government is declared almost a shutdown on the city, or basically like they're declaring it a dead zone. Like the government essentially has to work through some paperwork in figuring out like how best to approach Gotham, which essentially will take like months and months and months. Where in reality, every day things are going to get worse in Gotham. That's what he warns Jim about, and that his best interest would be get out there and just like leave people to their own devices. They worked on evac plans. He's not completely heartless, by the way. So again, the evac plans get everyone on a boat and out, get all the civilians on a boat and out of the city.
Yeah, yeah.
And so basically, as that, so and they has this really great moment. This is like a moment that speaks to it's such a Jim Gordon moment. I was really proud of this moment here, where he encourages Jim to leave, and basically Jim equates what he's doing to quitting. And Jim says, "I'm not leaving. If you're going to arrest me, do it now." It's like Jim will not give up on Gotham. I love that moment.
And of course, every time he does that, the guy just walks away in a huff because Dragon, my guess, he just doesn't want to deal with filling out the paperwork to officially fire Gordon. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, this guy is not worth my time. You know what? Just do what you want, for God's sakes.
So Bullock warns of again the other the other half of No Man's Land, we're about the turf wars. We're getting the territory is going to be claimed up, and as he mentions that, we see it unfold. Where Penguin, I believe, he claims City Hall. If I'm right there, he claims like this big spacious building. I think City Hall. Let's see. So we have, we see Mr. Freeze. He's like taking up some.
Yeah, we have some Mr. Freeze. My favorite of these is the Firefly one, actually, because it just shows how far she's come from her kind of like timid victim role in her first episode to now she's just straight up like, burn them all, burn them, ha 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 ha. She's got like this Rita Repulsa thing going on, and I like the new Firefly.
Yep, if anyone comes in our territory, burn them all.
God. Then, of course, we have the Scarecrow basically cutting a guy's head off and then showing him, like, oh, I'll show you what true fear feels like.
I'm surprised they can get away with this on air, but I guess they obscured it just enough that they could get away with it.
I guess so.
Seriously, though. Scarecrow with the scythe. And the hat.
Yep, Dragon. I'm surprised that we got full Scarecrow before we got Riddler with the cane, frankly.
Again, they need to give us one last thing with the Riddler, and that's I guess so. When we get the spec, there's something I'll tell you about the Riddler.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. So the of course, Scarecrow has a really great line. Hell is what's coming. All right, so let's see. So Hugo Strange I love the Penguin orders. It shows that the Penguin still has a soft spot for the Riddler and Lee here, where Hugo Strange has been ordered by the Penguin to fix Riddler and Lee. So again, but by the same token, they're going to be all right. There's a question of how all right.
God.
Then we have this one stupid bit in all this here. One stupid.
Oh, do we have to talk about it, Dragon? Can we just
set up for next season? We gotta cover.
Oh, can we just briefly just do a cliff notes on it?
All right, I'll do cliff notes. Basically, Barbara, she declares war on the men in Gotham.
Yeah, we're going that route, folks. Look, Dragon, I don't have the energy to say why this is wrong on a political level and on a storytelling level, but it's dumb. It's dumb.
It's dumb, and basically, after
it's basically a no boys allowed club.
And for the one thing I will say about it is, no one. It's like, no, the Penguin. The Penguin is what's wrong with Gotham, not the men, Barbara. The Penguin. He's the one.
Yeah, kind of generalizing there, Babs.
Anyway, so what we do this cool Batman homage though. It was in Dark Knight Rises, but it's pulled from this story called Batman the Cult, where basically they killed Ra's al Ghul's men version of the League of Assassins, and they displayed the bodies outside, and that's an image from Cult and Rises right there. They're all three of them are outside with a really intimidating sign, a stupid sign yet intimidating.
Oh,
sirens, women only.
Right. Okay, so meanwhile, get big scene between Lucius and Gordon. Gordon is telling Lucius there's one more favor he needs of him.
Yep. Now Lucius, he's done. Yours is quite clever, and I love this as kind of a way to spice up the GCPD next season. Is that Lucius refurbished one of the bombs, like a makeshift energy generator, like one that actually works without being turned into a bomb. And I love that. It's like showing that it rationalizes what happens next. The GCPD is like the only building with power because of this energy cell that he fixed. And we have Jim Bullock and Lucius and roughly a dozen GCPD cops. That's all that's left out of all the cops that were last season. That's all we're working with. And again, versus the whole city of, only the crooks have stayed behind. That's the main idea. Mainly the crooks have stayed behind, mainly. So Bruce is in shadow, and he's beating up and interrogating some thugs about Jeremiah's location. So as he does this, so again, the favor that Jim was asking.
Oh, here we go, Dragon. Here we go. And Dragon, as I saw this, I wasn't sure what I was happier for you for. Basically, you got two big dream come true moments in your life in this last week. You got Deadpool 2, and you got this.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Yep.
So, and by the way, just coincidentally, I did see Deadpool a second time today.
Ah, nice.
All right. So we have folks again. So Bruce, as he's beating this thug up in the darkness, he comes out of it for a moment, and what he sees is an image of light in the sky. He sees, a signal in the sky, not a bat signal, but a signal proper for the proto Bruce at this point. He sees a black.
Yeah, sure.
So then we have folks, a scene I've been waiting ever since the beginning for here. And again, I didn't think We might get an even better version of it next season, but I don't care. We got it here. I love it. We have the rooftop scene. We have a rooftop scene, folks, and not just like they're on a rooftop. I mean, a rooftop scene. This is so Jim, both of them with coats on, by the way. So again, we see, as you see before, Jim with the trench coat on, Bruce with kind of a black overcoat similar to a cape.
Hold on, Dragon. I think I have a good image. We might be able to swap over for it. One moment. Yeah, there. I love the costume design, as you said, Dragon, on these two right here. It's perfect. We've got that light beckoning in the background. We've got the red tie, the trench coat, kind of like the white and the black symbolism.
Oh yeah, it's great. So I love the dialogue and the thematic significance of all this, and I love that. And Tiki, this is the bit that charmed the heck out of me during this scene. I love the. It starts off like a classic Batman Gordon scene here, where he says, "You're not supposed to be here," and then Bruce's response is, "Neither are you."
Right.
And I
right.
love that in saying this. I love that Gordon, the way he says that, is in a way that he's not surprised. And that Bruce Wayne, he always wants to get involved. As years later, he's going to think of with Batman. And well, not year. I'm sorry, not even years later. It's shortly. He's going to
be exactly.
He's so excited. He's going on the other. Yeah,
he's within the next couple months or so, Dragon.
Oh my God, yeah, it's even better.
That's the nature of the show at this point. That's why we need to end the show after season 5, folks.
What I love in this delivery,
it's like the Tomorrowland dilemma, Dragon. The future is today.
What I love here is I love that because Gotham is in such bad shape. You know, he accepts Bruce's help finally. He accepts
that's
Bruce
exactly what you've been pitching all season, my friend.
Yes, you know, he wants you. Bruce is in the fold now. He's helping him out because there's no Alfred, and there's no like, oh, go with Alfred. There's no. The safest place for Bruce right now is with the GCPD by Gordon's side. It makes all sense. And then what we have after that too is I love everything about this. We have the walk and talk. They're walking on the rooftop to the signal to this. To this shot as they're talking, like they were doing Batman Returns, just having a walk and talk.
Oh yeah,
So basically, Gordon's like letting him in on the plan, where the plan is to go block by block. They have no idea what's lurking in the shadows. Again, shadows, a perfectly chosen word. And of course, as mentioned, we have 2 teases for next season, and these are. One of them is going to be really eclectic. The other ones, I think, is pretty obvious. We have Man Bat in the church. So Man Bat in the church,
Yeah, Man Bat had me excited because obviously that might be the big thing that gets us to the bat visuals of it all, the bat symbolism.
Oh yeah, that could be really cool.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, whenever anyone sees Man-Bat, a large portion of the audience will identify with On Leather Wings from the animated series.
Of course.
The very first thing anyone saw of Batman. Okay. The other one, this one's more cryptic, and I'm not even 100% on, but I believe this is what they're doing. So we see a woman and a child wearing a creepy mask, and they're going to like a building where they're killing people.
Uh-huh.
And this is I can't explain to you here. When we get to the speculation for next season, I'll get into it. Say this character might be called Mother.
Okay. Oh God, Mother. Oh no.
I kid you not.
I'm
saying that's the only character I can think that it is, and they've confirmed they're in talks to do Mother next season. So I think this is Mother.
Also, Dragon, you keep bringing up the spec, but I thought that we agreed that we were going to do a full speculation podcast before season 5 started.
That's what I'm referring to. I was referring to that. Okay. But I mean, the only thing I was going to inspect for this, I was going to tell you what the news was. That was the only spec.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Anyway. Okay, so let's see those 2 clips. And then we have the beautiful ending here. Oh my God, this beautiful ending gets me emotional. It's Batman. Sorry. We have Bruce, we have Jim, and the signal. And the callback. We have the ultimate callback, and this is the show we have before.
Oh God! And this Dragon, I was very, very happy for you when we got this callback. I was like, yeah, this is a perfect beat. It's like it's symmetry, Dragon. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Tiki, I'm pulling from the Tiki Fagan topic. Honestly, what we had here, folks, this moment here, whether the whole episode would match, it doesn't measure up to the comparison, but the ending does, though. Essentially, we do a Bates Motel season 4 here with the ending.
With the ending, yes, with the ending.
Yeah. Again, it's not as perfect as Bates Hotel the
Sure,
episode,
sure.
but I'm just saying. But the ending though feels like the ending of Bates Hotel, and that
It's got that same level of fan service. It's got that same level of emotion. It's got that same level of storytelling
extrapolation.
symmetry.
Where basically, if you never got another episode, you at least would know where it's going.
Oh
So
yeah, big time, big time.
again, I'm rooting for them. If they can top it, by all means, like do this like in the Cape and Cow, because I think it's like bring it even more full circle next season. By all means, but if we never get that, at least we had it here, and we have essentially another emotional roof kind of Gordon Batman scene, or the whole the put a coat on a young boy's shoulder scene from Dark Knight Rises. That's kind of what we do here. And so we saw that moment. We saw it here too, where. So we're basically they have the callback here where Bruce reminisces. I'm sorry, I'm building to it here. So basically, he says, with this signal, you're daring whatever's out there to come after you, which is great. And I love the symbolism with all that. He says, let them come. There's still good people out there. You need to know we're here and we're willing to fight. And so then Bruce is reminiscing on the night that they met.
Mm-hmm.
The world may seem. You said to me, the world may seem dark, and Gordon has that great line. Again, I love that's a difference. It's different than what the line originally was. It's like it's more present. It's more like in the moment here, where he says, "There is light."
There
will be light. There is light. We find.
Yep.
Now, let me just talk about the thematicism and the visual of the shot here. You got to talk about because the final shot, them by the signal and then with the signal going off here. I love the signal. The signal is a beacon of hope in the darkness. That again is a very Dark Knight Returns idea where Gordon, as Batman returned, like as Batman was about to return, he kept the signal on because it scared the criminals. It was a symbol of hope and fear to the criminals of Gotham. And by the same token, they're making themselves a target, not just in like, hey, there's like a signal of light there, of like, hey, there's a building to go to, but more accurately, there's prime real estate. It's like it's a challenge to any criminals out there. Hey, the only building in Gotham with an active power grid right now, come here, try and take it from us. It's like it's a challenge, and it's the symbol of like law in the lawless Gotham. It's on top of the GCP. It's the city doing this. Like it's not like all the bells and whistles of like you have like tanks and multiple searchlights, just one singular searchlight on top of the building. It's this perfect symbol of a city, a singular building, not like a force, not like a military, not anything like that. And again, I love that this scene. The only thing that I could have possibly had a gripe about, which I don't. I will make clear I don't have a gripe about this because it makes all the sense. But I wonder about then it made sense to me in that moment where Bruce. He had to be Bruce Wayne. He couldn't just be the vigilante in this scene because Gordon. Of course. Gordon wouldn't trust the stranger with this moment. He wouldn't trust the stranger to be in on the loop.
Or, I mean, let's face it. If it was vigilante Bruce, he would have still called out Bruce Wayne, and he would have been like, "Bruce, what are you doing? Like, what is this?" You know what I mean? I think that's more likely. I feel like at this point, Bruce kind of has to prove the vigilante angle to Gordon. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Because
Gordon is willing to work with Bruce on a partnership level, but we still have yet to. Season 5 is going to be the next level of kind of like, fully narrowing down the Batman Gordon dynamic to its purest form.
And what they revealed, let me just say this: what they revealed definitely makes this make even more sense than it already did. It was like, oh my god, it's so perfectly woven in there. Anyway, so that's that final shot is perfect. Everything I ever wanted from Gotham. Again, hopefully next season will top even that. So here's the news, folks. It's not even specs, just news. Okay, so they revealed that next season they're borrowing from. We got 3 details. They're borrowing from 2 storylines. Those are the 2 details. So one, they couldn't reveal because it was a spoiler, and even if they say the name of the story, which has me really curious. I have no idea. We'll speculate on that when we get more like a trailer or something. But the one they did confirm that got me real excited. They're doing Zero Year. I throughout this season, I said they're like nods of Zero Year, but they confirmed they're doing the other Scott Snyder.
It makes total sense, like in terms of the timeline of where we're at the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in doing Zero Year, Tiki, Zero Year again, they've done all 3 of the big Scott Snyder stories. They've even done a bit of the 4th one with Jeremiah.
Exactly, Dragon. So this basically cements the show as one part 60s Batman, one part dark and twisted, like kind of Tim Burton Batman, and then one part Snyder Batman.
Exactly, and Tiki, with news like this, and just when you put it all together, you see the grand scheme of it all. Tiki, it's like my wish, my hope for the show of like, yeah, they realized it fits into that Snyder vision. Like, oh my God, it's perfect. And Zero Year is all about Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon, especially Jim Gordon and Batman, kind of working together to save the city. And basically, it's kind of a Riddler is the big bad in Zero Year, and that's the third detail I was referring to. So Riddler is going to be they confirmed that Riddler is going to be a big presence next season. And they said it's not going to adapt.
And I could see that because I feel like some of the other arcs are kind of wrapping down, whereas Riddler, his whole journey has been kind of to the top of the crime boss food chain in Gotham, and I feel like it's been a very natural kind of journey.
So the cool thing is Zero Year, your two big bad guys are Riddler and let's just say Jeremiah. Those are our two big bad guys in that book, and that was the two big loops to close on Gotham. So that's going to be very exciting. So Zero Year is a huge little nugget of news I'm very looking forward to for season 5, and that suggests that we're doing 22 episodes. By the way, it's not confirmed, but it suggests that. Okay.
Okay, folks. So I guess the only last thing to do is to basically give our final thoughts on, kind of on the episode, and Dragon as briefly as you can, the season as a whole. So folks, I gotta say, out of all these seasons of Gotham, I don't love any of them from top to bottom. I don't want to sound harsh. It's just, there are certain things about each one of them that kind of, but at each level there's enjoyment to be had out of all of them, and I think season 4 is the closest I've come to loving a season of Gotham. Really, if it weren't for some of the messy stuff with Raish and Barbara, I would probably love season 4. But as it stands now, season 4 is very consistent. It's got a lot of top to bottom really good character arcs to it. It's got a lot of satisfying reveals. The finale was crazy. Getting into the finale, like I said, just so much crazy stuff happens. The fate of a lot of characters being hung in the balance, but also a lot of stuff kind of coming full circle and visually symmetrical with each other. It shows that the show has a good grasp on its storytelling. It's still got its roots in its early days as a series, and I can't wait to see what the end result of the show is. I'm hoping for a briefer season. I'm hoping for something like 13 episodes, but if we get the 22, that's fine too. At any rate, I'm glad that there's an end game in sight, and I'm looking forward to getting to it, and it's been a hell of a ride.
All right. So for me, with this episode, again, at the beginning, I'm coming around on it even more because again, that's the ending jazzes you out of your mind. Again, we have like slow elements like the major, but you take that and you take the Ra's al Ghul story of it all in this episode, being the barber of it all, I should say. Again, it's not even Ra's, it's the barber of it all. You take those two elements out of it, it's a very solid episode. There's a lot of really cool setup for season 5. It's there's not a whole lot with Jeremiah here, but there's just enough, again, teasing you for what's about to unfold. And that's why there's not a lot of Jeremiah, because, again, we're setting a lot of stuff up for season 5 that way. And, again, towards the end, everything is fantastic. Everything's great towards the end. And, again, it's again, the best comparison I have, it's like that perfect end scene from – it's close to like the season 4 ending of Bates Motel. It's close to that. It kind of touches the hem of something like that. And that's what we need to do. And again, that end scene it's where it comes alive for me. It might be one of my favorites out of all the whole season. We had a lot of really good episodes.
Oh, I would definitely say out of all the season finales, this is probably my favorite season finale.
So on the whole, briefly, is season 4 is definitely my favorite out of the 4. It's again, I look even with the race stuff. Again, honestly, just the payoff in this episode. You take that away. I think the race stuff plays. At least they had a better ending with it previously. So again, honestly, the Ra's and Barbara stuff's the only weak point I can really foresee with the season. It's strong throughout. It's really really good. It's really entertaining. It goes 4, 3, 1, 2 for me. That's my order. I think this season kind of helps retroactively make season 3 a little better, even with some of the least.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Again, knowing where it goes, it makes some of the hard choices of season 3 a little better to stomach, I guess. But again, on the whole, though, again, this was a very solid season. They came in on fire, and last thing I'll say is I think the reason this season stands out above the rest for me is that it's probably the best plotted of all the seasons. They had an end game, and they really made everything come alive. Right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You definitely get the sense that all things, like, to me, the biggest question mark of the season is what the hell is the point of the Penguin? What is the Penguin doing? And then even that is answered in glorious, spectacular fashion by the end here. So that was really the kind of tipping point for me. Like, yep, this is the best season.
Right.
All right, go for it, Dragon.
Remember, folks, however dark and scary the world might be right now, there will be light. There will be light. And there is light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham one last time. Are you a co-op?
There is light.
Are you a co-op?